Now, will there be a last-minute reprieve? Let's bring Curtis Ellis in, a former trade advisor to the Trump campaign. And I guess, Curtis, this is all kind of baked in the cake if you're an investor, I would think. We've known about this for a little while at least, but I guess the only market-moving possibility is if there was some sort of last-minute reprieve. Any chance, the president has second thoughts over the weekend, pulls back a little, or what do you think?
Well, I'm wearing blue, but I'm not holding my breath and turning blue, expecting a settlement here. This is a long-term problem. It's been going on for 30 years. It's going to take more than a few days, a few weeks, even a few months, and possibly a couple of years to solve this. We have to end a very dysfunctional relationship. Remember, when we opened up trade with China, we were told Chinese consumers would be buying everything we make and it would be great.
Right.
Now we're told, oh, we have to have a deal with China because China's making everything our consumers are buying. So this thing has gone terribly wrong.
It brings up a larger point, and it allows me, Curtis, to kind of shamelessly plug a special we have planned for this weekend. But what you were saying is one of the things we talked about. This is going to air. It's called The Challenge of China for the first time, 9 p.m. on Sunday, as some of my reporting from earlier in the year in China as part of the special, but also a conversation with experts that touches exactly on what you're saying about how people have really changed, Americans, their views of China over the years. I want you to take a listen to a clip from that special, and then we'll talk about it. Here it is.
Mm-hmm. There's been a dramatic shift. Even the title of your show, The Challenge of China.
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, it would have been called The Opportunity of China, and the discussion would have been all about how U.S. companies can get into China, why, if they're not, why aren't they?
And Patrick Travanik, not the only one who feels that it's not that type of discussion anymore, Curtis. The question is, when we come through all of this, what does it all look like then? Is it as simple as a trade deal, or things, in your view, kind of changed forever?
I think it's changed forever.
Yeah.
We have to reinvest in America. All of these supply chains basically mean things that used to be made in America are now being made in China. There's no metaphysical reason why they must be made in China. They could be made in the United States or elsewhere in the world. There's a big world outside of China as well as the United States.
So we see some of that already. The moving, right, of the supply chains. Bringing it back to the United States is a larger issue on the cost side, as you know, but moving it to, say, Vietnam or Cambodia, Malaysia, those things are possible, but there's a cost in the interim, right? I mean, it doesn't happen overnight, and if you go from China, where you got 1.4 billion people, say Vietnam's only 100 million, these other countries are smaller, so you don't have it's not as easy as it sounds. At least I don't think it is, but maybe you disagree. What do you think?
Well, there aren't that many labor-intensive industries that we have to worry about. Increasingly, robotics, automation, and high-value capital investment will take care of the work. So you have India with over 1 billion people as well for some of these capital-intensive industries. But there's no reason that we need to be making things and investing in a totalitarian regime which really wants to see the extermination of private property, free enterprise, and the American way of life.
Right.
So that's the context that we need to be viewing this in.
All right, Curtis, always good to have your insight on these issues. Thank you for coming on. One more mention.